Happy Wednesday. It's Barry. We are live, and I am so thrilled to be here with you today with another amazing topic to really help you to break through from where you are now to where you want to be in your love life. Beautiful. So, as people are joining, again, I just want to quickly introduce myself because every week we have new people who are joining our beautiful community. So, I'm Bari Lyman, and I'm the creator of Meet to Marry, Get Unstuck in Love. And it's a transformational dating method that helps singles to permanently remove unconscious dating and relationship blocks so that you could summon your soulmate and bring in someone amazing, someone extraordinary, someone who makes your life so much better, so much better. So who is really excited about that? Oh, good. I can see your comments here today, which is amazing. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Boy, getting tech to work sometimes is really challenging, but we made it work. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about feeling empowered when it comes to your love life. How many of you feel like uh, you're empowered in your love life? Like everything is great, you're meeting all the right kind of people, and you're close. Yeah. And if not, how many of you are actually feeling disempowered? Like you're not doing the choosing, or the choosing that you're doing definitely is not working for you. So if you're here, that is how most people are feeling. Most people are feeling like, where is my person? And why is dating so incredibly painful? Why is it so hard to meet a high quality person? And today, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about breaking through so that you can feel empowered and really do the choosing. So, I want to tell you a story. I had a client, we're going to call her Wendy, and she was in a relationship. She's 50 and she was never married, and she's a high performer and in her career, but she just couldn't find love. When she did find someone that she was in a relationship with, she thought it was going well. Her dream was to get married. And then at the end of the day, he said, I don't think you're the one. I don't think you're the one. And I don't want to move forward. She was devastated. She really thought he was the one. So, who can relate to that? Feeling like you're in a relationship, you think things are going great, and then no, and then it ends. This is the kind of thing I hear every single day from members of the community, right? So why does that happen? She thought he was the one, he wasn't the one, and then she was devastated. She was so heartbroken, and it took her so much time to figure this out because she cried and she went into a big depression. Why wasn't I chosen? Why was I not chosen? And it's painful. Yeah, Sari. Oh,
But
that's
have
right.
you reached out to
Could-
Ashley?
Mike, could you mute yourself? Thank y'all. Okay. All right, beautiful. My husband is with me assisting. So when this kind of thing happens, it's really, really painful. So what I want to do is open up your minds and open up your hearts to a different way of looking at this whole thing. Why we think something is great when it's not, and how to change it. Wrong men, dates that don't make sense. And I get it. Once this happens, you're devastated. And then you feel like, oh, I don't even want to bother. I don't even want to bother. But at the same time, you want love. So obviously, there's a disconnect in your understanding of the relationships that you're in and who is actually doing the choosing, right? So in your lives, as successful people, right? You make decisions every single day, right? You make decisions about your business, you make decisions about your children, all those things. And when it comes to love, we're not doing that. And we say, how did I choose that? How did I miss it? I don't get it. So, what I want to do is help you again to be in the driver's seat of your dating because obviously there's a gap. If you think this is a great relationship, but it's not, and you get broken up and it's broken up, you get your heart broken, it is really costing you a lot of pain and sorrow and time. And so what I want to look at are the things that need to happen, the five things that really need to happen for you to not make poor choices and look at things um, from a superficial lens, right? So the first thing I want you to look at is I want you to start to know that your time and your life and your dreams matter, that you're valuable. If someone breaks up with you and you think it's good, you thought it was good, and then you're heartbroken, I want you to know that it doesn't need to be that way. It really doesn't. I want you to know that these poor choices that we make come from really setting yourself up to have the right conversations, understanding how a person is showing up. Because when we look back at these relationships that didn't work, I am telling you that there were signs. There were definitely red flags. So, who sees in hindsight that there were red flags? Everyone I work with, when we look back and we start examining, we always see those red flags. And the red flags are having to do with this really deep emotional connection that has to do with that is what conscious healthy relationships are made of. So obviously there is more to know, and we don't just look at it like a oh, all beginnings are beautiful, but guess what? A conscious relationship is not about just a great beginning. It is about a lifetime connection. And so, in order to understand what goes into a lifetime connection, then we need to know what questions do I ask? How do I know if someone is going to be good for the long term? And so, these are the things we need to look at. We need to look at number one, if you're with someone, then obviously you're attracted. But number two, we want to look at, do you share the same vision? Do you share common values and common goals? Are you on the same timeline? And what I want you to know is that it's not just um, words. It's really how a person is showing up. And it's also about the next thing I want to talk about is understanding how to set goals with a potential soulmate and really see if the person is really real and on your timeline. Because words can be really empty. People can say the right things. In these relationships, it feels like they are. Now, in Wendy's situation, there were no goals set. So, how many of you in your dating actually set specific goals for your dreams with your partner, with this person that you're dating? Most people are too scared to ask, too afraid to set goals because they feel like, oh, that's too forward. I am going to scare off that person. And the truth is, you can't scare off the right person. I'll tell you another story. A client named Elena, she too in the past was dating 80% men, 80% men. She wanted 100%. 80% is not enough. Feels really lonely, right? Because the most important pieces are missing. Now you could date someone who is good and nice and okay, but if you're here, you long for a deep emotional connection that is going to be a lifetime connection. Wouldn't you agree? And so when you feel like Sari's saying, like, I did set goals, you're always you're always checking in. You're always really checking in. You know, in Elena's relationship, it is so sweet. Every week they're getting together. They're talking about their dreams, their vision, what that's going to look like. And they're starting to already live that vision. And she has never felt so protected, so connected, uh, living in two places. They're talking about those things and they're actually doing it. They're actually doing it. And the other thing that's really, really important to look at is to really, number three, is look at the person that you're dating and understand their true ability to be what you want, to show up the way you want. There's always something that you're missing. Is the person expansive? Is that person self-aware? When they got divorced, for example, if most of you are dating people who are divorced, ask the question about what went wrong in that relationship. Like, why do you think that relationship didn't work out? And delve into that to really understand, because when someone ends a relationship and they are free and complete to totally move on, to totally remarry, to introduce you to their children, to introduce you to their communities. That is when you know you're on the same page. And when there are surprises and the person suddenly backs out of a relationship, I'll tell you what, we didn't have the depth of connection that we want in a conscious relationship. Maybe it looked good on paper. Maybe they said the things that you wanted to hear. But the difference in a conscious relationship um, versus mystery dating is that it's real. You're totally feeling the way you want to feel, and sometimes we're blocked and really looking on the surface, and that's what we want to change. Because once you're with the right person, you're going to feel pursued, you're going to feel claimed, you're going to be designing this future together. So, the next thing I want to talk about is I want y'all to stop living in fantasy land about your dating, thinking, oh, because so many of you get into relationships, you haven't asked the right questions, you haven't gone deep, you're not experiencing each other in that way where you're already dreaming together. And saying the word superficially is very different than someone who is emotionally available to you, someone who's comforting you, someone who is real. And in order to get to that place, we need to come from uh, a place of so much clarity within ourselves. And we can only reflect on that after a breakup, looking back and really seeing, what did I miss? And where were those incongruencies? And where were the lies? Where was the person saying what I wanted to hear, but not really there? Not really there. So I want you to get out of fantasy land thinking that, oh, it'll work itself out, or we just need more time, or if only things were different, or if I had been different. That never, never works. Because when it's right, this is what we learn in a clear path to true healthy love. All my clients, the 1,000 people that have found good love, they have expanded in themselves to have a new understanding of what is real, to be fully expressed in their dreams, in their vision, but not just expressing it, understanding, having a skill set to understand if the other person is really viable, is really a strong possibility for you. So we never want to live in fantasy. We never want to wait. We never want to uh, just kind of wait and see, because you will feel it. You will understand it from the very beginning. So when Wendy was crying her eyes out, why was I not chosen? In hindsight, looking back, the guy was completely surface. He was totally emotionally unavailable. And she put him, which leads us to the next thing, don't ever put someone else on a pedestal. She put him on a pedestal. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, he's so handsome. Oh, he's so interesting. Mm-mm. No one is so great until they show up for you in the way that you want. I want you to look at yourself as the prize, as deserving of love, and stop. The next piece of this is to stop the people pleasing. Stop people pleasing. This is a big problem, really, with high achievers and high achievers who come from parents, childhoods where they were criticized. When we come from a childhood where our needs were not met, where we literally did not feel safe and seen, where we couldn't be expressed, we learn how to earn love. We learn how to be a high achiever. We learn to look at things superficially. We learn to just see the surface. But conscious love is not about credentials. It's not about a list. It's not about convenience or what other people will think. It's only about what you think, what you feel, what is real. And that is so different than the trauma from our childhoods, right? Than the divorces that we've had, how badly we were treated in the past. So many of us um, learn how to earn love, and we learn that we want everything to look good. We want people to see us as successful. If we have this great person, then we are, then we're okay. But in order to find really good love, we need to put the mask on ourselves. We need to trust our feelings, understand what really goes into it. And so understand that no one is asking you for permission to date a certain person, to live their life a certain way. But why is it that sometimes we do? We just want to put other people first, and sometimes it's our children, sometimes it's our work, and sometimes it's just abdicating our own needs. So people pleasing is where when other people approve of what you're doing or like what you're doing or see you a certain way, then you feel validated. But true vulnerability comes from feeling validated within yourself. So, next, this is a very important distinction, is stop looking only at the good. Oh, but I got this and I got that and I got the other thing. Like, but we're denigrating the fact that our emotional needs are not met, or we're settling for crumbs, or we didn't really look at the psychology of how the person really thinks. We're just listening to surface. Oh, yes, we're going to have a future together and we're going to do this and we're going to do that, only to discover that it's really not true. It's really not true because a part of you truly, and this is where I need you to have a beginner's mindset, that we don't really understand what it is to receive at that level. And if someone is not ready, is not open, is not expansive, but they're just saying empty words, you want to have a skill set to talk about goals and deadlines and dreams. Otherwise, we're blindsided. And we don't want to do that. And then we get heartbroken and we say, eh, love is not in the cards for me. It's probably not in the cards. It's not for everyone. Or I need to meet someone in a certain way. And or I don't like online dating. I only want to meet people organically. That's right. Getting blindsided really means learning how to ask those deeper questions, to really understand what is that person really capable of. And we have to learn really how to receive, because sometimes when we've been hurt and traumatized and divorced, something better seems better, but it's not. It's not. We want to understand what really is conscious love and how do I know if it's real? And then get out of looking at only the good and start to see things for who they really are, people for who they are, and looking at ourselves for, why do I accept crumbs? Why did I miss things? Why am I putting people on a pedestal and letting them do the choosing? Now, that's what I did in all my previous relationships, is I let them choose me. If I was chosen, that's great. Then I felt really good about myself because I had someone, and having someone made me feel good about myself, even if there was no future, even if it seemed good on the surface, but wasn't good. So that is a function of really healing and understanding ourselves, because you are the prize. You are the one that gets to be in the driver's seat. You get to do the choosing. And from the very beginning of an empowered relationship, it's going really the way you want. And it continues to go the way you want because of the conversations that you're having, because your heart is totally open, because you know how to receive love at that level, not the empty words that people say or the empty promises, right? You're really seeing how they're living their lives. And so instead of giving up and saying, oh, this is too hard or it's not in the cards for me, I want you to know that it is in the cards for you. And as human beings, we're always growing and expanding. So instead of shrinking and saying, no, not in the cards for me, it's not for everyone, or it's not worth it, trust me, it is so worth it. As someone who's helped more than 1,000 people to find conscious love, good love that lasts, right? It's not about, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. It's that you are feeling how you feel in a relationship is really what matters most. And not on vacations, not just on vacations, or not just words, but in a person's actions. When you're with the right person, you will feel so deeply loved, and you will feel your deepest emotional needs being met. You will feel a level of caring that is rooted in empathy and in a solid vision that you're always talking about from the very beginning. And so when we feel so heartbroken and like, oh, what happened? Instead, you want to learn the art of closure. Because when we, in our Clear Path to True Healthy Love program, look back and diagnose the choices um, that you've made and the heartbreak that you have, it is so clear and it is so obvious. But there's an expression that you cannot read the label from inside the jar. And that means we don't have perspective. And I want you to stop letting others choose you and you do the choosing. You design your dream. You decide what you want. You learn how to understand your true emotional needs. Because I want you to know that finding conscious love, it just isn't something that we learn, right? Who sees that? We weren't born learning how to find love. No one taught us. 50% of our parents are divorced, right? And many of those marriages that do stay together, it's not rooted in consciousness. So often it's rooted in generational patterns. It's rooted in, they might still be together, but is it a is it a relationship that you'd want to model? Truly, I know for me, it was not something that I wanted to model. And so I went out there helpless. I became a high achiever because that is what made me feel really good about myself. And then I made really poor choices, from a handsome, charming drug addict, a true person that was not able to love fully, but I wanted to fix him and change him. How many of you can relate to that? We look at things very much on the surface. It feels good to be chosen, but the problem is we're being chosen by the wrong people. We're just repeating the past. So if you want to stop that, get out of the old paradigm of mystery dating, of disappointment, of struggling to identify the right people, looking at people from just the surface. So many people, high achievers, they're looking for smart, they're looking for successful. They have a checklist. I want the person to be like this and to be like that. And you can totally find people who are like that. But the most important parts are totally missing. And we miss it. And what does it cost us? It costs us time. It costs us time. It costs us heartbreak. An average breakup, divorce can take 7 years to get over. A breakup makes you feel like, I don't even want to do this again. But when you do it in a way where you're in the driver's seat, where you understand the vision that you want to live into, when you understand what you need emotionally, And it's not superficial, it's very deep, it's very real. We all have our own unique emotional needs. And again, so these are the most important things, getting into your core, understanding that you deserve, that you're the prize. Stop living in fantasy land saying, oh, but I share my vision with all of my dates. Well, if those dates are emotionally unavailable, that would be a waste of time. A waste of time. So we want to change that and stop the people pleasing and stop coming from, superficial where I don't really need anyone. I worked with someone who said she was dating someone 10 years older. And she said, I just want a long-term relationship. But when we started to look at what she really wanted someone who was there for her, someone who could be there for her when she's sick, someone to plan vacations with, someone to snuggle up with, Netflix, holidays, someone to be there. Her kids are, off in college and she's lonely. And she said to the man that she thought was the one, he's like, oh no, I don't want that. I just want companionship. And then she said to herself she said in a conversation with me when I described what good love is, she's like, well, yeah, if I could have that, of course I'd want to be married. So there's a really big disconnect in that we don't understand what good, healthy love is. And there's a way to learn. And high achievers tend to enjoy condensing time and having a plan. And you can have that plan. You can totally have that plan. A plan that has you free from the past in a short time, understanding your true needs, living into a vision, totally getting complete from the past, and in a paradigm, a real experience of bringing in the right ones and finding the right one without wasting time, without settling, without mystery, but literally set yourself up for a conscious relationship that does last a lifetime because you finally choose each other. You're choosing each other in a way that is from the heart, that is real, real conversations, really knowing. And so, if you're ready for that, if you're ready to learn about a plan, then let's jump on a 15-minute call and look at your dreams and look at your goals and talk about how we can apply this into your life. If you're ready for that, we're going to put the link in the chat. And this is something that if you want help with, that is something we can do. And I have a special announcement that on May 19th, doing a week-long workshop where you can learn more about how to put this into practice. It's called Find Your Soulmate. It's time to finally attract the true love you deserve. And the key is true love and finally and deserve, right? Because your person is totally, totally waiting for you. Why? How do I know that? People say to me, Bari, how do you know that? I know that because if you exist, your soulmate exists. It's just your soulmate is ready for love, is ready to commit, wants a deep, meaningful connection, wants to build a life with someone, is completely ready for that, and emotionally is capable of doing that. In Wendy's situation, not a chance. Sari, who's sharing a little bit about what happened to her, he totally was not. He totally was not. He was backed up and clogged up and not complete from his own past. And who wouldn't want you around? Someone smart, someone beautiful, someone successful, someone kind, someone who's a giver. So, yeah, people are going to say things who are not marriage minded people, right? So find your soulmate. It's time to finally attract the one the true love you deserve is happening on May 19th. It's a Sunday at 12 noon. We're going to put the link to register in just a little bit. And come into this world, learn more, realize that you do deserve love, and you can be the one doing the choosing of who you spend time with, who you're dating, so that you're choosing someone in full and complete alignment. Who's up for that? Success, a success oriented model to have exactly what you want, because I guarantee you it's worth it. I am married for 19 years, and it is such a gift to be with a man who's constantly growing and changing with me. The man I met 19 years ago, actually 20 now, is the same guy who's always expanding, always growing, up for adventure, the father of our dogs, right? A person who became plant-based vegan with me. That is our adventure. That is our life story. And to have someone who always has your back, who is always concerned about your well-being, for real, who always shows up uh, for me and do that shows. And they all say, I married someone even better than I ever imagined. That is possible for you, totally possible, but we need to learn how to do it. And just like you learned how to play piano and you learned how to do your career, right? I want you to be proud that you're a person who is learning and growing. Don't be in shame like, wow, it's not working for me. I have shame about asking for help. No, the smartest people on the planet raise their hand, are proud to learn and grow. You know, the millionaires in our planet, you know, they have mentors who are billionaires. So you definitely want a mentor who's walked in your shoes, um, experienced all of the shame, all of the mistakes, all of the trauma, and turns it around to be a mentor to thousands. And that's what's on the table for you. So I hope this was meaningful. I would love to know in the comments below, if you're watching this recording, what really stood out for you. And if you enjoyed this, share our community with your friends. Share this link with your friends, and bring them to the workshop. We're going to drop the link in just a few moments. And thank you for joining me. I know your time is valuable. I appreciate you being here with me. And I know a lot of you watch this at night, like not all of you can join at this hour. But again, I am cheering for you. I believe in you. Take these steps, put them into place, and I will see you next week. All right, guys. Mwah. Bye now.